Thanks, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us on this edition of the news, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. The President of the Republic of Cameroon, Paul Biya, appoints a new government headed by Chief Dr. John Gutte, a former Minister of Special Duties at the Presidency of the Republic of Cameroon. But what can this new government do as far as the Anglophone crisis that has been deepening for the past close to 3 years is concerned? We shall be looking at this in this newscast. Right, Nadine, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon is now Joseph John Gutte. He was appointed by the President of the Republic of Cameroon to take over from Philemon Yang as the 5th Prime Minister from Anglophone Cameroon, shortly after the presidential decree appointing him to the post of Prime Minister was read on a national radio station, CRTV. Yesterday, there was an explosion of celebration at his residence in Yaoundé. Smanjikan Gabriel Hasbon.
The observed residence of Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte was filled to capacity immediately after the news dropped at 5 p.m. that he was the new Prime Minister of Cameroon. Family members, friends, and well-wishers took their turns to congratulate the new man in command. Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte was not tired of the congratulating messages, reasons why he took time off to welcome everyone at his residence. His first statement upon his appointment as the head of government was that he will work according to the desires of the President of the Republic.
Well, we are going to start by putting in place the priorities of the head of state, what he would like us to do. His priorities are our priorities.
Before his appointment Friday, his residence at Bogongo 1 in Ekondo Titi subdivision was burned down. Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte takes over from Philemon Yang.
There was equally celebration in the southwest regional chief town, Boya, where Senator Mbela Mokicha, speaking to a Boya-based correspondent, Derek Jato, said Chief Dr. John Gutte is a square peg in a square hole, notably as far as the resolving of the Anglophone crisis is concerned. Take a listen to Senator Mbela Mokicha.
In the southwest region, and I can assure you that this is the Prime Minister who will deliver a refined politician, a genuine intellectual. In fact, I can tell you that this is a unifier, and you just need to wait and see. We are going to give him our fullest collaboration. We are going to give him total and unreserved loyalty, the type that is necessary to cause a Prime Minister to be an achiever. I think that the President has acted very well, and this one action of his is a class act. By the grace of God, I want to emphasize and reiterate that Minister John Gutte, today Prime Minister, head of government of the Republic of Cameroon, is a material that can cause a necessary response to the situation that is prevailing in Cameroon today. He is a unifier, he is an experienced personality, he is versed with what is happening, he is tolerant, he has a human touch to his approach in the way in which he manages public affairs, and he connects so well. As I said, this one action of the President of the Republic registers an action which can be qualified as a class act. And not just the southwest region. Cameroon as a whole is going to be unified behind this gentleman, this special human being, this gracious human being, this personality of a man known as Prime Minister Joseph John Gute. You should understand that his passage through enough caused and brought about the finest minds that we have in our public administration today in this country. So he is somebody who knows Cameroon, he knows Cameroonians, which means that he can adequately accompany the head of state in providing solutions to the prevailing problems of this country.
Well, we are happy. Yes. Southwest China, we are happy. No.
Senator Mbela Muki Charles speaking there shortly after the appointment of Chief Dr. Joseph John Gute as Prime Minister of the Republic of Cameroon. And in that partial cabinet shake-up, some ministers saw their ranks increase from simple ministers to state ministers. Others were simply kicked out of the government and replaced by newcomers. Some were simply moved from one ministerial position to another, and some big names, of course, were maintained. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
Just like he did after the 2011 presidential election, Paul Biya decided to go for a partial cabinet shake-up after a long suspense that began from the day he was sworn in on November 2018 for another 7 years mandate. Just few ministerial departments were affected by either a change of portfolio, swap in ministerial departments, or removal from posts of minister. Pierre Ismail Bidumkwad moves to the Ministry of Arts and Culture, while Narcisse Mwele Kombi takes over him as Minister of Sports and Physical Education. Laurent Sech Etundungwa becomes the Minister of Basic Education, while Issa Chiroma Bakari moves from Communication to be Minister of Employment and Vocational Training. Henry Ayebe Ayisi, former Minister of Agriculture, become Minister of State Properties and Land Tenure. Ferdinand Gongo, on his part, became Minister of State but got maintained as Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic, despite comments linking him to Cameroon's failure to host AFCON 2019. Jacques Famendongo becomes Minister of State, Minister of Higher Education. Among the newcomers are Celestine Ketchakutes, the decorated mayor of Bangante in the West Region, who moves as Minister of Housing and Urban Development, replacing his regional brother, Jean-Claude Mbonchu. René Emmanuel Sadi becomes Minister of Communication after spending 9 months at the Presidency of the Republic. Manauda Malaki takes over public health from Andre Mamafuda. Ibrahim Taba Mala takes over the Ministry of Public Contracts, which has been taxed by Equinoxe as most corrupt in 2017, from Abbas Sadu. Gabriel Mbairobe becomes Cameroon's Minister of Agriculture, while another Gabriel Ondondonke replaces Ernest Ngwabubu to be Minister of Industries, Mines and Technological Development. Achille Basiliken III is appointed Minister of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises. The G20 got their share of the national cake as Jean de Dieu Momo is appointed Minister Delegate in the Ministry of Justice. The partial cabinet shake-up saw names like Andre Mamafuda, Abbas Sadu, Yusuf Adija Alim, Zachary Perevet and Ernest Mbwabubu packing out of government.
And one of the appointments that have attracted a rain of reactions on the social media is that of Jean de Dieu Momo, president of the PADEC political party and member of the G20, the group of 20 opposition political parties who decided to stand behind the president of the Republic, Paul Biya, in the October 7, 2018 presidential election. He was appointed minister delegate at the Ministry of Justice. Immaculate Fogwe now takes a look at some of the reactions to his appointment on social media.
Social media users have not been silent over the appointment of Barrister Jean de Dieu Momo as Minister Delegate at the Ministry of Justice. Majority of some of the reactions captured on Facebook hold that his support for the ruling CPDM party for the past months elevated him to that position. One could see reactions like, Jean de Dieu Momo, Minister Delegate of Justice. Mr. Biya has done it hard. Another social media user says, life has changed. The decree has fallen on my brother. He has been given a post of high esteem. Others see his appointment as a slap on the face of his opponents, while others think his appointment came as a result of the role he played during the October 7th presidential elections. Such users advance comments like, Jean de Dieu Momo, that affair has paid. On social media, chats, reactions and talks on the partial cabinet reshuffle is far from being over.
Now, what can the partly new and partly old government led by Prime Minister Chief Dr. Joseph John Gutte do as far as the deepening Anglophone crisis is concerned? In the upcoming report, Mimi Mefo takes a look at the profile of the new Prime Minister and, of course, what that government can do to solve the crisis that has been deepening for more than 3 years, or close to 3 years today.
The deepening Anglophone crisis, which is now being referred to as an armed conflict, escalated under the government of Philemon Yang. 3 years on, the northwest and the southwest regions are still to be free from ghost towns, gun battles, targeted killings, kidnappings and arson attacks, despite series of visits to the regions by Philemon Yang and members of his government to call for peace and calm. It is not known whether replacing the former head of government with Chief Dr. John Gutte is connected to the crisis, but many are curious to know if the traditional ruler from Econdo Titi southwest region of the country can succeed to pave the way for the much expected peace talks. To many, it is a dream to imagine that Chief Dr. John Gutte, who has served under the same regime as Minister Delegate at the Ministry of External Relations with special responsibility for cooperation with member countries of Commonwealth for over 2 decades, would hasten the holding of an inclusive dialogue for the return to normalcy in the conflict-hit regions. But contrary opinions hold that his mastery of the grievances of the English-speaking population, having represented Cameroun at the UN Human Rights Council and led the country's delegation to the Africa Commission on Human and People's Rights in Banjul, could be a promising portfolio for an expected change.
We are very happy.
The CPDM Central Committee member, who is replacing the longest-serving Prime Minister in Cameroon, had served as Director General at the National School of Administration and Magistracy, ENAM, where he was in charge of training senior public administration, finance and judiciary personnel. If there is a principal challenge ahead for the 65-year-old Chief Dr. John Gutte, it is the need for him to provide urgent solutions to the Anglophone crisis.
And the situation has continued worsening in the 2 Anglophone regions of the country since the crisis quickly switched from peaceful protests by teachers and lawyers to an armed conflict. Many persons have been killed, many have been displaced in hundreds of thousands, and many are suffering as a result of the Anglophone crisis, and the towns and villages in the northwest and southwest regions of the country have remained heavily militarized, and the President of the Republic has announced a military crackdown on those he refers to as warmongers in the 2 Anglophone regions of the country if the government or they fail to drop their guns. And of course, the situation has continued worsening despite this announcement or warning by the President of the Republic of Paul Biya, and of course the calls for the demilitarization of the 2 Anglophone regions of the country. In the city of Buea, for example, military presence is heavy in that city, but Mekema Patrick Esunge explains that the military forces are there to ensure the security and safety of the people and to protect the territorial integrity of the country, notably at a time when the Southwest Regional Chieftain Buea has lost its hospitable character, thus the change of name from the city of legendary hospitality to the city of excellence. Listen to Mekema Patrick Esunge.
We've been having persistent civilian attacks by groups of armed secessionists, and so if the military is out there, it is to bring down or quell down their incursion and persistent attacks. It is no news to all and sundry that even traditional authorities here were kidnapped. They were not kidnapped by military. So going by what you described as the city being militarized, I think the military before the crisis were all in their barracks. If you see them out, then it is to defend the integrity of the nation, defend the national colors, honor a fidelity. That's part of the assignment. And we think that we should dwell more on inviting our brothers and sisters who are hiding in the bushes with weapons, with arms, to desist from this and look for better avenues or pacific avenues in solving and regulating what they term as problems. Buea has been known for its excellence, and that excellent people do excellent things in the city. They pegged the excellence in the domain of academics. They talked about the St. Joseph College Sase. They talked about the first bilingual school, which was moved from Manowobi in 1963 to Moliko. They talked about the excellent culture of the people. They talked about the excellent touristic attractions. Everything that surrounds Buea goes with excellence. And so you cannot talk about hospitality when some people are in the bush with weapons, guns and all sorts of weapons, killing, kidnappings, extorting, and all sorts of vices to their own brothers. That is no hospitality. So in the real sense of it, we should go back to what we used to be and encourage our people to maintain values of excellence.
And many councils in Anglophone Cameroon have ceased functioning. Many of them are functioning below capacity as a result of the Anglophone crisis that has crumbled activities in those parts of the country. The mayor of Buea, Kema Patrick Esunge, told us that the Buea Council is barely surviving on state subvention. Take a listen.
The situation has been ongoing for slightly above 2 years. And the population has adapted to the new dispensation, and of recent, the population has indicated signs of sign on the ongoing situation, which they think is exaggerated. And so the population, the business community, as well as the township taxi drivers and highway transporters who constitute a good proportion or component of facilitating life and business in the city, did walk up to me to indicate their willingness to bring them together to engage in their routine activities unperturbed. So we had a meeting on Thursday last week and a follow-up meeting on Friday last week. And we are optimistic that since some taxis circulated on Monday and business places, especially the Buea Town Market, was fully functional on Monday last week, we hope that the machine is grinding slowly but surely. In the next 2-3 weeks, we are going to go out of this phenomenon of closure or shutdown of businesses on Mondays. Well, it has impacted enormously on the income situation of the council. 2016, the Buea Council stood tall in the midst of the ongoing imbroglio. 2017, we started with realizing some setbacks. 2018, it became more serious that throughout the year, the Buea Council did not collect a single dime on the global pattern, and which is one of the foundations of the economy of the council. The council virtually survived in 2018 thanks to subvention from the state.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen, for this edition of the News. Thanks for staying with us, Nadine.
Yes, Babila, Jonathan. Mesdames et messieurs, c'est la fin de ce journal. Merci pour votre aimable attention et passez d'agréables moments en compagnie de nos programmes.